In this video, we look back at some of the most brutal knockouts in boxing history.
He's getting caught a lot here, right? And he's got it with the left hand! What about this?
And Fury may be about to be stopped for the first time in his career.
Let's get straight to it. There's a laundry list of things wrong with what Skipper was doing in that ring, but the biggest red flag was how he left himself wide open for a right hand. Hawk didn't need a second invitation.
The biggest things now you see before the devastating right hand. That's an anesthesia punch right there. Somehow though, Skipper...
He landed a thunderous shot that sent Skipper crashing to the canvas. I thought Skipper was done at this point, but the ref let Skipper continue. And it was like watching a slow-motion car crash you just couldn't look away from.
And the final seconds of round number one. Sean. Another vicious onslaught right there by the Sioux Warrior. And when a guy's head hits the back of the mat like that, he's not getting up. And it's over.
Left hook was the final punch, and obviously the concern now is over Bo Skipper as the doctor comes in and they will minister to him immediately, but he got hit with a series of punches, and that left hook was the final one. You even see the concern by Sean Hawk as he takes a look at Skipper.
And that is Dr. Monica Meyer right on top of Bo Skipper. Referee Ed Obregon also over there observing him. There is movement. You can see his eyes, and his eyes appear to be open. And let's take the replay here, Al.
A great uppercut. Yeah, it started with the uppercut and then the straight right hand, and there would be later on in the sequence a left hook that would put him down, and they'll keep him down there for precautionary measures.
Hawk, sensing that Skipper was running on borrowed time, delivered a left hook that practically sent Skipper into orbit. The poor guy was flatlined so hard, you half expected him to wake up asking, "Did anyone get the number of that bus?" This KO was as brutal as they come. A reminder that in boxing, when you're outmatched, it's not just about losing. It can be dangerous.
And he came up top of the left hook. And as I said, yes, the experience level wasn't there for Bo Skipper, but Sean Hawk showed a very, very technically sound fight. I like what his trainer's doing with him, and he's got the basics down pat.
And you see him setting him up. And Skipper trying to fight, came here ready to fight. But again, it was that right hand. That was the first knockout. And again, Sean, the Sioux Warrior Hawk, getting now a very impressive win, getting his 13th knockout in his professional career. Sean, the Sioux Warrior Hawk.
He has caused the odd upset, notably when he had Colin Dunn on the floor in the southern area lightweight title fight. He's getting caught a lot here, right? And he's got it with the left hand! What about this? I don't think he's going to get up. He won't. It's over. Oh, he looks in a bad way. Ryan, he doesn't know what's happened to him in there. There was no count. It's over. Thaxton's won inside a round, but more seriously than that, Ryan looked badly hurt. And the 21-year-old from Norwich brought in at the last moment, and there it is, the jackpot payoff punch that lifts him into the big league.
Yes, a big left hook. Ryan was putting the pressure on, obviously felt confident, left his hands down, his chin up, and he paid the price. Beautiful left hook, and he went down heavily, and it will be a disastrous night this for Paul Ryan.
It really is. There was the punch that changes John Thaxton's life for the moment, and I'm afraid changes Paul Ryan's as well. No world title shot for him, I'm afraid.
I always thought Roy Jones's left hook was his love letter to boxing.
Here on Sport. Quick left hand by Jones, and Anderson goes down. You see the time remaining.
He threw it with such blistering speed. I'm surprised it didn't leave a sonic boom.
Referee Bill Connor is saying, "Are you all right?" And then, "Are you sure you're all right?" And Connors has called it. It is all over. Roy Jones has stopped Ron Amundsen in round 7.
Just look at this fight against Ron. His legs went to jelly faster than a bad Jell-O commercial.
More control, and down you go. And he did.
3 for 3 as a professional. Record of 3-0.
All three by knockout.
Roy then threw 12 punches in less than 2 seconds, probably faster than you can say, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, he was pretty tough. I knew he'd be tough coming into the fight. To tell you the truth, I really didn't anticipate a knockout, but however, I knew if I ever got him in trouble, I was going to try my best to finish him.
The fight between Billy Johnson and Archie Hopkins might not have been a marquee matchup, but it certainly had its share of drama.
You are official. Right hand right there by Archie Hopkins.
That's an official knockdown.
Oh, boy. Billy Johnson looking for a stool, and there is no stool.
Archie, who looked like his pre-fight meal might have been a six-pack and a cheeseburger, somehow managed to land a right hand that floored Billy, like he just slipped on some. But then, in a twist that would make a Hollywood scriptwriter proud, Billy shook off the cobwebs, got back up and took a good look at Archie, who by now was wheezing like he'd just run a marathon.
Just landed, not the push.
Yeah, Billy Johnson's throwing the better combinations, the better punches. He just can't take the punches quite as well.
Throwing a combination right there was Johnson. Going to the corner of Billy Johnson. Here's the knockout.
Well, Hopkins landing that right hand, and Billy Johnson in a world of trouble at this juncture. But it would take a long time for the referee to get things started again, and a combination of that and Hopkins not going after him allowed Johnson to come back with those flurries at the end of the round.
So how'd you score it?
Archie's gas tank was emptier than a college student's fridge, and Billy knew it.
His hands up by his chin and continue to throw the jab. He could be successful. He needs to protect his chin because he doesn't have one.
Hopkins is so tired he can barely keep his hands up. Johnson just can't punch.
And there's a right hand. Hopkins taking it though. An exhausted fighter right there.
I don't know what Darren Morris said he's doing.
Now it's time to put the pressure on. Hopkins is exhausted.
But he's not going down. Harder to knock over than Mount Rushmore up here. Archie Hopkins.
A straight right hand by Johnson.
Simultaneous punch by Paul. Both of landed. Hopkins in a world of trouble.
Now that's what Johnson really ought to do. The body punch will knock him down, and it did.
Taking it in. That's a smart move on the part of Hopkins.
It really was, yeah.
Very smart to take that knee, take the 8 count.
I think it might be more than that.
And that's it. You're right.
He's finished.
So what did Billy do? He went straight for Archie's midsection with a body shot that made Archie fold like a cheap lawn chair.
Getting his 7th win as a professional, and now getting his 5th knockout win.
Archie learned the hard way that if you show up out of shape, the ring quickly turns into the world's loneliest place.
Conditioning is so important. Here's a fighter, Billy Johnson. He has no punch. He has no chin. But I'll tell you, the conditioning of Archie Hopkins was very, very poor. And even though he can't punch, Billy Johnson, he doesn't have a chin. He's been down. The better conditioned fighter wins.
And you know, the interesting thing about Hopkins is he does have some pop in his punch.
The only thing that annoyed me about Frank Bruno in the recent week is that we had a story coming over to Australia where he actually accused me of being a chicken for not facing him. Well, I just want to tell Frank that this chicken has come to roost.
Bruno fought Joe Bugner in what was the richest sports event ever in Britain at the time. The build-up was explosive and the fight was a big deal.
I mean, a lot of what Bugner's actually been saying has been centred around sort of vitriolic hatred that he's actually had of you personally.
Yeah, I hate him as well, you know.
Why?
I just don't like him, the things what he's been saying and things like that. I just don't like him at all.
The fight itself, however, was a bit of a letdown. 16 million people tuned in live, and Bruno was in control, scoring with combinations.
Oh, there's a good swipe there by Bruno, that right-hand punch.
In the 8th round, Bruno followed up his double jab with a solid right hand, and Bugner was hurt.
He clubbed him with a right hand, and he won't go down, Bugner. At that point, he didn't even put the knees on the canvas. He tried to absorb the punches, and that was a pretty brave effort of his, perhaps foolish. And he's getting 7, 8, 9, and he's going to let him box on, and he's pinned in Bruno's corner, and it won't go surely now. The towel has come in from the Australian's corner, and Bugner doesn't know why at that point, and at least he's had the professional's pride, Jim, of staying on his feet. That I hand it to him. He took a lot of stick there, and I don't know whether it was his wife who made the cornermen do it, or they did it under their own steam. Probably they did. They threw the towel in.
I think Bugner was just too old and past his prime. Bruno followed up, and Bugner's corner threw in the towel faster than you can say British boxing.
It was a part of my life, and I couldn't have walked the streets tonight if Joe would have beat me. He's a very good, experienced guy. A lot of people knew he was experienced. They knew it was a good fight. A lot of people thought he was going to beat me tonight. All of England was on my back, and I had to knock him out, and I did knock him out. And this is all for people, a Christmas present for everybody. Bloody. I feel beautiful, on top of the world, on top of the world.
I mean, macho is one thing, but to let Mugabe hit you on the chin is insane. And again, down we go. Oh, we saw it, and it's going to happen again. He'll get up. Yeah, he waved his hand like it's nothing, but he's hurt bad. This fight will not get out of round number 1.
Don Morgan in trouble, and in trouble early.
Oh, my dream matchup is to take Mugabe and put him in with Philadelphia's unbeaten 23-0, 23 knockouts, Earl Hargrove. Although I'm conceding this fight already. It's like I'm saying it's over. Morgan is down and out. Another guy just hit his head flush on that canvas. He is in bad shape.
Boy, did Mugabe unleash a killer punch.
It is over. The doctors are in the ring.
John Mugabe, a winner in the first round.
Here comes knockdown number 1. Bing, the big right hand, and Don Morgan falls apart in sections.
Here's the finisher.
And it's a crunching right hand again. He was getting hit with them all round long, and as he went down, he smashes his face on the canvas, just about left his face print in the canvas.
I don't know what was louder, the thud on Morgan's chin or the thud of Morgan hitting the canvas.
We notice is that no Emmanuel Stewart in the corner of Gerald McClellan. We understand there was a disagreement between Stewart and McClellan over strategy for tonight going into the fight, and apparently there was a split.
McClellan's next fight was a routine first-round knockout.
And not losing weight like he wants him to, and just a strategy. He doesn't want him to come out here and bomb Baptist. He wants him to box, and of course, McClellan's idea is I'm going to get him out of there in 3. Why should I train hard? There's the first good hard punch.
Thunder there, looking to end it in the first minute. There goes Baptist down, crumbling to the deck.
A relentless full frontal assault was expected, and McClellan was one of the most feared men in boxing.
In dire trouble. A swarming Joe McClellan dumping up on the left, smothering Baptist with punches. Baptist goes down to his back.
This is academic here. His aren't there. That's it. Richard did the right thing. The towel comes in, although the towel has nothing to do with it. Richard did the right thing.
We understand that Bobby Chase is standing by with Emmanuel Stewart.
Falling off. Remember, no standing 8 count here in New York. So, if Nava gets in trouble, this fight could be stopped. Oh, it's not going to take a standing 8 count or any other thing. It's over.
Doctors quickly in the ring. 14th victory for Spann, 9th by knockout. And you see he is just about ready to go. And there is the final shot.
Bang, he hit his head off the canvas.
One that might not have been necessary for the conclusion of this fight.
Well, referee Louis Rivera looked as if he was ready to step in. You see him about to make a move. He's jumping in there. Well, he's talking to the doctors now, but they're going to make him stay down. So many times when a guy gets knocked out, you see his cornermen try to get him up right away. That's the wrong thing to do. The guy's legs are gone. Why stand him up?
And there you see tilting, ready to go, and Spann wanted to make sure. Wide open was Franco Nava.
After missing one of the wildest right hands I've ever seen, Carpentier dropped Smith with his trademark punch, the roundhouse right.
And Dick Smith, well, on the floor in the second round. And Carpentier, vicious puncher at times.
Notice how Carpentier is leaping into his uppercuts. It's like he's trying out for a role in the next superhero blockbuster, the Roundhouse Right Avenger.
And he's got him again, a right to the head there from Carpentier. Smith down, but is he out? He is. It's all over. Carpentier.
He drops Smith again with his right hand, and the fight is over. I thought Carpentier was a big puncher, but this was like watching a sledgehammer in action.
It'll be interesting to hear what Eddie Futch has to say to Riddick Bowe between these rounds, and we are going to be able to do that. Nice combination there by Bowe, but he took a left hand from Card.
In this performance by Riddick Bowe, you really get a front row seat to the chemistry between him and his Hall of Fame trainer, Eddie Futch.
Bowe, you got to punch up. This guy's down underneath you. You got to get down low and punch up with both hands. Up to the body, straighten him up, and then go to the head. Understand that? Oh, we got to use that jab, a little more jab here. You jab to the head, and he's slipping inside. They jab along here. Just by chest high.
It's like watching a well-oiled machine at work, if that machine could punch you into next week.
And there he goes. A left hand set it up, and a right hand put him down. That is exactly what Eddie Futch said. You heard it.
When Bowe actually tuned in and listened to Eddie, he was unstoppable. Like a student who finally realized that maybe, just maybe, the teacher actually knows what they're talking about.
Uppercut and left hand behind it.
Notice how Bowe follows Eddie's advice to the letter. It's almost as if Eddie's corner instructions were the secret sauce to Bowe's knockout recipe. If only Bowe could apply that same dedication to his diet.
Si sono incrociati ora i colpi, il destro di Cardamone è andato a segno, ma il sinistro di Cardamone mette al tappeto Neville Brown. Terribile sinistro di Cardamone, può riprendere il match, ma Brown è ancora in difficoltà, non ha recuperato e va KO. KO. Dobbiamo dire che ci è sembrata prematura la decisione di Van der Wiele di far proseguire il match. Ha contato con molta rapidità Brown e lo ha subito fatto continuare, ma Neville Brown non aveva recuperato. I medici sono sul ring a controllare le condizioni del pugile. Ha subito un durissimo KO Neville Brown. Comunque dobbiamo dire che il pugile è vitale, non ci sono problemi per fortuna.
John Fury, Tyson Fury's larger-than-life father, has never been one to shy away from speaking his mind. But when it came to facing Henry Akinwande in the ring, let's just say his chin didn't live up to his mouth's reputation.
The rate of exchange is very much against Fury, and that was a beautiful little right hand. And Fury may be about to be stopped for the first time in his career. And he's certainly not going to beat this count. He's absolutely out.
9, 10.
Counted out in the third round. And that's a very impressive win by Akinwande.
Gentlemen, please, after 1 minute, 32 seconds of round 3, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a very quick...
Notice that John doesn't bring his left hand back to his chin after throwing it. He doesn't have good head movement, and his punch resistance got exposed here. In the end, John Fury stayed down like a man who realized he'd rather be anywhere but face-to-face with Akinwande's fists again. Eric Drain got a crash course in Jackson's left hook. And then a masterclass in uppercuts. I was genuinely surprised Drain stayed upright. Those punches looked like Jackson was trying to do a little redecorating with Drain's facial structure.
Other right hand, glancing blow that time, no damage done there.
Here's that uppercut again, Jackson's idea of a dental appointment.
Calling the doctor in, or he's stopping the fight, or just what's going on. He hasn't indicated to us. It looks like he's calling the doctor in. I haven't seen him wave his hands to stop the fight.
It's all over. Okay, finally,
오벨 메이어스 11에서 다운됐습니다. 주심 카운트하고 있습니다. 다시 일어섰습니다. 상에 오르는 백인철 다시 넘어갑니다. 백인철 선수 경기 끝났습니다.
크게 넘어졌어요.
네. 백인철 선수가 11회 KO 승으로 WBA 슈퍼미들급 챔피언의 자리에 등극을 했습니다. 백인철 선수가 오벨 메이어스를 누이는 장면을 한번 보시죠. 확인이라도 하듯 오른주먹을 턱에 자결시키는 백인철이었습니다. 11회 1분 21초 만에 백인철 선수가 통쾌한 KO 승으로 WBA 슈퍼미들급 챔피언의 자리에 올랐습니다. 오벨 메이어스 선수를 큰 대자로 누이는 백인철 선수의 모습입니다.
Former light heavyweight king George Carpentier took on battling Siki for the 175-pound title. Notice that Siki is a pressure fighter, and George is more of a boxer type. It's like putting a relentless force of nature against a technical wizard.
Siki's down.
He clubbed Siki to the canvas here. It's like getting hit by a wrecking ball with a personalized message.
Up at 7.
Siki is clearly the kind of fighter who just swings wildly when hurt. He shocks everyone by dropping George with a huge right hand.
Carpentier's down. Up at 4.
It's like he was trying to make up for lost time with one colossal punch. Notice George showing fast recovery skills here. These old school boxers were as tough as nails, tougher than trying to open a jar of pickles with your bare hands. Both guys went to war for most of this fight. At the end of the 5th round, George slips. Siki helps him up in a show of sportsmanship, and George repays him with hard punches. I think this might have made Siki a bit miffed. In the 6th round, Siki comes out and throws the kitchen sink at George. Look at these combinations. Siki's punches are like a series of rapid-fire cannons. George is down, and he doesn't try to get up.
High body punches following a terrific uppercut to the jaw. Carpentier is completely out. The count is mere formality. He's not even trying to get up. He took a terrible beating. It's all over. But wait a minute. The referee has disqualified Siki for tripping. This is really something.
I think Siki won this fight fairly. Let's take a look at the replay for a closer look.
Conference for the judges. And the crowd is booing. They're calling the referee's decision a fix.
Keep your eyes on Siki's left leg. He kicks out at George. I think George was hurt and was the beaten fighter. Siki seems to be channeling his inner angry kangaroo after the previous round. I think George tries to get Siki disqualified for the foul. It's something he has done before. He was the beaten fighter here and tried to use the foul to his advantage. Regardless of the finish, this was a classic fight. Both guys threw heat all night. It was like watching a fireworks display with punches instead of pyrotechnics.
Destro è un colpo che porta con molta precisione Rivera. Un destro, un sinistro di Rivera messo al tappeto Parisi. Contato Parisi, combatte con rabbia. Ancora il sinistro di Rivera, manda al tappeto Parisi. Cerca di far partire i suoi colpi Parisi. Va ancora al tappeto. Seconda volta al tappeto per Parisi e vediamo la sua espressione. È indeciso se Contisi. Rivera avanza implacabile. Poi il sinistro di Parisi, ma il sinistro di Rivera lo mette KO. E KO. Il portoricano Rivera ha spento le luci a Giovanni Parisi. Vedete la gioia del portoricano. Vedete Parisi prova il suo destro, ma il sinistro di Rivera, lo sorprende, lo incrocia.
Vasily Zhirov didn't just wear tiger trunks, he fought like he'd been raised by actual tigers, especially in his fight against Kenny Craven. From the moment the bell rang, Zhirov pounced on Craven with the ferocity of a big cat on the hunt.
Say that. Coming up as a young man, as a pro in Biloxi, everybody was a lefty in his gym. They said the first couple thousand rounds I sparred were against lefties. So they're on the inside right now, and that's where Zhirov, of course, negates his lefty.
He was all over him, unleashing a relentless barrage of punches that seemed to come from every possible angle. Head, body, it didn't matter. Zhirov was determined to leave no part of Craven untested.
Kenny Craven hurt at the last 10 seconds of that round. That little uppercut on the inside.
For Craven, it must have felt like being trapped in a cage with an actual tiger. There was nowhere to hide.
Of Kenny Craven, that body shot knocked Craven down. And that's that body shot you were talking about.
Craven was trying to weather the storm, but it was clear he was getting pummeled.
Hurt him.
He is a nasty body puncher. He has hurt me a couple times to the body.
And again,
another time.
And the delayed response, and then finally Kenny Craven going down. A wicked left hook by Vasily Zhirov. He could be granted Mexican citizenship for being able to land that left hook.
And I think that's a prerequisite for all males. You know, that the fact that now he's going to go downstairs again, we know that.
And now the nose of Kenny Craven bleeding profusely.
A hurt fighter. Either you hold on or you get on your bicycle and you move. One of the two. Kenny's got to decide.
And look at Zhirov creating angles for himself. Inside. A masterful job of boxing.
Got to be looking closer.
And Obregon counting. Kenny Craven shaking his hand. I think. And he's up.
I believe he feels like he's really hurt for the body, and he was pointing that out to his corner. We'll see if another body shot will send him down.
And you see Zhirov step into his right, setting up that left.
Zhirov throwing a few to the back of the head, which I thought I had a few to the back of my head as well.
And now working the body is Zhirov. From both sides, and Kenny Craven taking everything from Zhirov, and he's still there. He's still there.
Craven threw a great uppercut a moment ago that landed, did no impact to Zhirov.
He's just got to throw punches. He's just got to start throwing punches.
Exactly,
a little more
right.
offense out of him.
Just to keep the fight going.
The referee will stop it.
And that's another left hook. That's another left hook, and you see the knee buckling.
That should have been called a knockdown, actually.
And now
I thought the stoppage was good. The referee, seeing that Craven was basically auditioning for a role as Zhirov's next meal, wisely stepped in and made a compassionate stoppage. It was the kind of beatdown where you're just grateful the ref had the good sense to throw in the towel before things got even more wild.
And Joe, here is Vasily applying that incredible body attack. Just an assault.
And fans, that'll do it on behalf of MHA Nation here at
A great performance right there by Vasily the Tiger Zhirov on Kenny Craven.
As we've always known, he's a great body puncher. He hurt Craven early in the body. You got to think, what did this fight do for Vasily? Vasily's coming off a couple of fights where he went the distance with Troy Beats, Forrest Neal. He had a draw with Orlin Norris. What does this do for him? I don't know yet. We got to get him in with a little tougher competition to see where he'll head back in the cruiserweight division.
Well, we said, look at it, you can see right there. Kenny Craven, who's trying to take it off. This is probably the toughest flight attendant in the world. That is Kenny Craven.
Definitely a tough flight attendant. I mean, he was in there for a couple of rounds against an extremely tough, tenacious fighter, a very decorated fighter, Vasily Zhirov.